Welcome back to the analyst desk once again. My name's Hinduman, joined by Agro. We're on the second to last day with only one more set to play today. It'll be Rival up against eUnited. It's been a very important, interesting week so far.
Oh yeah, it's been chock full of action, and this set is probably going to be no different. Might be a little bit confused by that 2-1 scoreline on the graphic, but remember this because it's a continuation series. These two teams already met on the winner side of the bracket. Rival won 2-1. And so that series set will continue over now until this bottom side. So it would have been a best of 5. It's still a best of 5 technically, but it starts off 2-1 in Rival's favor.
I was going to do that for you in a minute, but Ryan took it ahead of time. One thing I will say though is that tickets for the after party at hi-rez Expo are on sale now. Only for limited time. They're going to be up and out relatively quickly, so head over to hi-rezafterparty.eventbrite.com to get your tickets now. You get to hang out with us all, and I've heard Ryan will buy you a drink if you go.
What? I hope I'm getting an extra gem stipend for that. Sale does end Sunday, so make sure you get it soon. Trust me, the after party is like if you're going to HRX, go to the after party. I promise you, you might regret it the next day, but overall, through the course of your life, it will be a good thing.
You'll never see any staff member or anybody you recognize from on screen involved in Smite or Paladins in a bad state in any way.
Again, that's
not going to happen.
That's 2 lies in a row.
Right, let's get into it. eUnited versus Rival. First thing to look at is the bracket. Now, as Ryan was saying, the upper bracket and lower bracket. If the teams faced off in the upper bracket, well, the scores will carry over to the lower bracket. So Rival enter this best of 5 with a 2-ward lead over eUnited. Still a best of 5, but with 3 games already played, which now means that eUnited have to win the next 2 games in a row.
And this is because the players, based on their feedback from the spring LAN, they wanted a little bit more of an advantage. If you've already beaten a team, you should have earned an advantage.
And this is the advantage they're going to get.
This is the advantage you get. eUnited still certainly has a chance to win this best of 5, winning 2 games in a row. Is certainly capable of it. They just did it against Space Station, so they're going to have to try and carry some of that momentum in. And I think that could really be a worry for Rival, is that they're coming in cold. Well, eUnited isn't just warm, but they're hot right now.
And I think me and you were discussing off-air who we thought would be stronger in this one, first of all. Before we get to that, though, Rival had this to say about their matchup today.
All right, I got Cohort Tactician and Vote here from Team Rival. Getting ready to go into their setup against Space Station Reunited. We don't know who won just yet. But the first thing I got to ask, it was a tough loss yesterday. What have you all done to bounce back from that and make sure your heads are right for this set that you're all going into now?
We just remembered that we were in the exact same spot last LAN, and we won it, so.
Well, last time you guys were against Dignitas in the finals, and they had that Game 1 debacle where it was Fred trying to solo the Titan, and then it was Zeros trying to solo the Titan, and then great defensive hold, but Energy seemed to come out on top in the LAN. Do you think that losing Spring Split for them revigorated themselves?
I think it definitely motivated them, to say the least, and in the actual online phase they've been doing really well, and I think just in terms of players they just stepped it up.
Now, do you all have any preference at all for who comes out of this set? I know it'll be an easier set for you if eUnited comes out just because of the continuation, but do you have any kind of preference either way just based on the teams?
I'd rather play Space Station purely because I think we just need to play more. Because we're just not playing how we usually play. And if we beat them, it's going to be the exact same as last LAN.
More practice.
Well, if you beat every team, you can truly crown yourselves a champion without a doubt, beating every team. But how has the coaching impacted a Rival now? Covert Tactician stepping in for Alpha Jackal. What adjustments have you made with the team?
Like overall, like after the last set, we went over and we looked at all the players that went wrong in the game, and I've recognised what's went wrong, and we're looking to bring that into the next set and actually change what we've been doing wrong, as well as in terms of picks and pans.
All right, and is there anything that you've seen just from these couple games here that you think might give you all a bit of an advantage here in this next sense? You're getting to watch them both play before you start up.
I think just Space Station, giving eUnited, Artemis and Zhong, it's just, I'll take that. I'll take that.
They're hoping that they give you those same things. Is that right?
I'm fine with that.
Well, congratulations, or not congratulations, but look forward here to seeing you on this next set. Congratulations on making this far at the very least, and we'll keep our eyes on you.
Right, thank you.
So Vote would have rather have played Space Station. However, talking to some of the other members of Rival earlier on this week, they were like, we would like eUnited again because they're good opposition. They're interesting opposition.
Yeah, this is a rivalry for sure between these two sides. I think we're going to see even more of this as we move forward. I mean, even in the same LAN, they can't stay away from one another. They have to play each other twice.
and only one of them can move on to the grand finals tomorrow to face Energy. The biggest thing then is who's going to come out with what at the start of this game. eUnited should come out warmed up and flying, but then again, you know, Rival, they have a very good job. They do a very good job, and the players around the scene have already noticed it, of playing from behind consistently and well.
Yes, and we might see that here in this game. You and I were talking, as you mentioned, right before this set started, or we came on the desk, and I think that eUnited could come out swinging, get a big lead, and Rival might need to go into that defensive shell that they excel at.
And I really feel this is going to be, game one is going to be put the nail in the coffin, is what's really going to have to happen. I think eUnited will get off to that great start, but if they don't put that final nail in the coffin, Rival will open the casket and come crashing down. There's no Baron yet. I'm just getting prepared, boys and girls, just so you know.
Oh, man, I'm excited, man. I'm ready for some Baron already. I wish he was available, but I might be in the minority.
Do you reckon he'd get played this tournament if he was?
Yes, but I don't know. At least in his current state, in the live patch, this is the patch before midseason, so I think he would have gotten played certainly on that top pick, top ban. But on the current patch, I don't know that he's that good.
So coming down to this set then, and 2 games are guaranteed here. If eUnited can win them both, Rival just needs to find this one win. Into picks and bans we go, with eUnited on the first pick. And it's all about Circuit for me.
Yes, well, maybe. Because Rival did not play a whole lot of Circuit, if my memory serves me correctly. I've got their last sets, picks, and bans here. Rival banned Circuit in Game 1. eUnited picked it in Game 2, and then Rival did pick it in Game 3, and that's where iceicebaby and Rival won that one. So you're probably right. I think it will be centered around Circuit, and look at that. First ban.
It's almost like I've heard these stories before. But the question is, will Ratatoskr also see the light of day in these banning phases? Artemis certainly will and has been removed by Rival.
Well, eUnited banned Ratatoskr in Game 1 against Rival of their last set and prioritized it very heavily later on in Game 3. So I think that we will see some Ratatoskr focus here one way or the other. No Artemis for PandaCat. I would be surprised if he saw it again this tournament. I'm surprised he saw it at all this tournament, to be honest with you.
Well, Chernobog is still available right now too. Athena, a contested pick from every single SPL team so far at this LAN. That's also currently available depending which way Rival want to go here. They do get 2 picks in their first phase after eUnited gets the first selection, so it can be useful to leave some things up.
United's been pretty worried about what Wlfy's playing, specifically between Giannis and Thoth, and they banned both of those gods. Or they banned Thoth both times, Games 1 and Game 2, and then picked it for themselves very early on in Game 3 against Rival in their first set. So if Rival leave Thoth open here, I wonder if that's where eUnited is going to go. I have my doubts that eUnited would be willing to give Athena over to Rival. They didn't let it happen in Game 2. That's the only game they won of that set earlier.
Well, Athena will be available, as will Thoth, as will Chernobog, and the Ratatoskr. It's not just too many things.
Smart. I really like this. I really like this ban by Rival because they won't pick Chang'e early. That just won't happen. But Rival was totally fine taking Athena Thoth, Thoth Ratatoskr, Athena Ratatoskr, whatever eUnited doesn't take here. Chernobog, throw that in there as well. This is putting eUnited to the test. How good is your understanding of this meta? What should be the top pick that's valued right now?
Athena.
And they take Athena.
And that more than likely will go to PolarBearMike. Benji was on your screen momentarily there. He's played a lot of Zhong Kui this tournament so far, and it is currently still available. We'll find out if that does get picked up, but it just depends what Rival choose to do here.
I think Rival's likely going to go Chernobog, Ratatoskr. I think that would be my preferred 2. Definitely taking Chernobog, no 2 ways about that.
Thoth.
They go Thoth, and the only reason I was thinking that maybe we give Venenu Thoth in this spot is because it's been good, but it hasn't been great yet. And I think that you can at least reasonably think that maybe eUnited will say, Thoth hasn't worked out for us too much. Let's go Athena and something else in the mid lane, and then you could still get Thoth alongside that Ratatoskr.
Yeah, Venenu's Thoth seems standard to me, whereas we've seen players
That's the thing about Thoth.
Play above and beyond.
I really think there's only 2 players in this league right now that I would say I cannot give Thoth to either one of these, and that's Yaman and Zeros. Yes. Yeah. Wlfy has had good Thoth performances, also has done not a lot on Thoth at times. Ven the same way, Baskin the same way.
I think
I'm not
Wlfy's
really.
raw is above his Thoth, so yeah.
I'm really not that scared of Wlfy's Thoth. I'm fine with eUnited giving that up here. I really think that against Yaman, though, it has got to be permabanned.
Well, here comes that Medusa again from eUnited, and if you were just watching the previous set, that did go to the mid lane Venenu here. Definitely flexible for PandaCat to just take it into the dual lane with Athena for the standard composition of Athena taunts into petrifies.
I like it.
Rival
I like it a lot.
instantly answer back with the Odin.
Odin has been underrepresented so far this tournament. I think we should have seen more of him, and I think that picking
Jungle?
it very early on for jungle right away is very smart. I do think this is going into the jungle for iceicebaby, but it doesn't need to be, and that's where the strength comes from Rival, is that this can go to either Ice or Deathwalker, is just depending on what the rest of eUnited is going to pick and ban, and what else Rival really needs in this composition. But I think this is smart to take it early. It can really victimize that Medusa and the Ratatoskr.
Well, Benji will not get his hands on that Zhonghui again. That's been taken off the table by Rival. eUnited now need to look through the junglers, I would say here, if they think the Odin's going elsewhere. All the supports are what they want to try and take away. Do they try and limit Callus? Do they try and limit Deathwalker? When you say those two names, I'm not really worried about trying to limit them. You don't think you can.
No, you're just kind of accepting whatever they're going to do. I wouldn't be surprised if we see an Ares ban next by eUnited. 3 gods that can struggle against Ares at times, though all 3 do have CC immune ultimates, but Kalas will pick Ares whenever you give him the chance, so that wouldn't surprise me too much. I think Rival here might be looking to ban away the Chulainn from Benji potentially, though he hasn't played a lot of it. I'm interested in to see what Benji's going to take. I think I'd ban Cerberus. Cerberus is the pick I'd ban here. It gets out of Odin Cage. It brings the control that Benji has really liked in that solo lane, and he hasn't been playing a lot of pressure warriors right now. He might switch to it, but I think I'd prefer to see Cerberus taken away. Discordia is fine as well.
Right. I mean, take away the Cerberus, then also pick Chulainn means that he could be a bit more tricky in the solo lane to deal with, you know, because he's not going to have as many leaps and escapes. It's going to be the Khepri, though, from eUnited. Well recognised that Callus has been running to that a little bit, and with an Odin so deep in the front line, and Chernobog with that dive potential too, that Khepri could have really allowed them a window. Chulainn will be the selection from Rival, so...
Okay, you ready for my true spice right here?
Go on.
You pick a Wlfy and put Ratatoskr solo, and put in, or you give Mike Rat support and put Athena solo. And
funny enough,
and
I
Wlfy.
was thinking of a Wlfy myself, but I was not expecting it with that Ratatoskr already locked in.
I know, and that's why I think Rival feels confident enough to take the Odin,
Sure.
because Scream has played a ton of a Wlfy over the split, at least in comparison to every other jungler in the league who doesn't really seem to like a Wlfy that much. I would be tempted here if I'm Scream. I know he already has his pick most likely, but I trust Benji to be able to play a Rat solo. It's something that a lot of players have dabbled with over the years, and I think he can still get it done.
Is it going to be the Medusa in the dual lane? It's all up to what these next 2 picks are from eUnited. Realistically, though, it's probably Medusa dual lane because they're going to need some magical power, and they can't really have anything for the solo lane anymore with that Zhong taken away and the Chang'e. It does limit the options from eUnited here, so it's taken them a long time to think this through.
All right, I got off my crazy box. Now I'll get back to reality. I think the Morgan would be a really good pick here for Venenu. You get Athena ultimate, Chernobog ultimate, and Ratatoskr ultimate to choose from. Medusa is also a pretty good transformation target that you can go to. Chronos? Really? So Medusa mid, Chronos ADC.
Yeah, dual lane Chronos. Panda's taking that, I feel.
Really? I don't know about this. I don't know. I think that it's tempting when you watch Emilito destroy a team with it. It's like, oh yeah, that looks good. I can go for that. But that's Emil, man.
Well,
he's just better than everyone else at Chronos.
Rival have a minute now because that Odin doesn't necessarily scream jungle. You know, it could go to Callus and that could swing things again.
Yeah.
In a final twist of this picks and ban phase for Rival, if they did look for a different jungler, but Cerberus hovered over here.
Might be Cerberus in the support role. Does have that ability to burst down Chronos very easily.
Not bad against Athena either for punishing her on those dashes.
Yeah, certainly could be pretty good here for Kalas. The Ares certainly looks less appealing now after Bellona Chronos. Neither of those really care that much about Ares, so I don't mind him going away from that idea. It will indeed be the Cerberus, and Odin jungle is the call for iceicebaby. Not a lot of damage here from Rival. Thoth doesn't bring that same 100-0 potential that he used to in the late game. Chernobog can bring good damage, but it's not burst really, it's over time. I don't know that I love Rival's comp, but I don't really like eUnited's either.
I'm feeling eUnited in this game, though. I do like the look of eUnited, but it's setting up for what me and you were just discussing of eUnited probably do well in the early stages of this game, and
yes.
can they put it to bed before Chernobog and Thoth get online?
I don't know, man. I just think that PandaCat has been so good on his regular hunters, and this Chronos selection doesn't really work for me here. I mean, it can be really good. If this draft, if you just covered up eUnited and put energy, I'd be losing my mind over how much I love it. But
okay.
I just know that, you know, Medusa is a big pick for Yaman, that adapting is great with the Ratatoskr, that Emilito's going to carry with Chronos. eUnited hasn't proved that to me yet.
Well then, who do you guys at home think is going to win this game? Get your votes in now. eUnited need to win the next 2 in a row. Rival just need 1 to put them in tomorrow in the grand finals. I'm feeling eUnited for game 1.
I think that their momentum will give them a big edge here,
Yes.
and I think that's the reason that maybe this Chronos doesn't even factor in. I do think that PandaCat's the best ADC in North America right now, and I really don't think it's that close. So I have confidence in him to play it. I just think that Rival is probably a little bit used to playing against Chronos at this time after playing against Energy so often.
That's true.
Bellona is a god that we haven't seen in quite some time in the solo lane, maybe a little bit here and there during the summer split, but a lot of other picks have been prioritized over her, and to pull it out of nowhere against someone like Deathwalker, who is so comfortable with and against Bellona. Remember, when Deathwalker really burst onto the scene, it was with that Bellona, and it was with setting the meta with his sorts of build styles. I don't think that Bellona is going to throw him for a loop.
Big one. Absolutely monumental for North American fans out there as well to try and find this Rival in jovial spirits on the screen right now. They seem pretty confident with how this one is playing out. They've got to warm up, though. It's going to take them a bit of a minute.
Could be, and Rival, I mean, just think about when they start lands. Usually, you know, the international teams, they haven't looked their best against a lot of those international teams. And so I think that there is something to be said that Rival likes to be warm, likes to warm up before these games start to happen and they start to play at their best. That's why they were able to win that grind fest against Dignitas in the best of 7 during spring. Maybe coming in cold to this game where eUnited is warm could hurt them.
Really do like the Bellona pick for Benji, though. I'm a big proponent of this. I think it's going to be very good for locking down the Thoth in the mid lane if he's going to be dashing away.
I think Cerberus. I think I would have liked the Cerberus more. It would have left them pretty light on physical damage, but Medusa Rat is probably enough physical damage to make you concerned if you're trying to build against eUnited. I think I would have liked Cerberus a little bit more. I still think that putting Rat solo a Wlfy jungle would have been a really cool twist that I think would have caught Rival off guard.
But on the game on the line, would you do it?
Look, Screammm's been playing Bastet on the world stage. Like, they're used to putting weird stuff places that try and make it work.
68%, I believe, in Rival are going to take this game. I think the warm-up will matter for something. I really do. The fact that eUnited's just come off the back of that space station set, they would have got themselves set up, be comfortable. That's going to play a big impact at the very beginning.
Certainly could, and I think that a lot of people see this Odin pick for iceicebaby, and that might be swaying some of the 32% for eUnited, but he really changed the way that I think a lot of players thought about Odin, specifically in the jungle, and how to use that cage not as a ring in, but a ring out to keep everyone out, like the biggest Ymir wall basically in the jungles. Ice plays that pick so well, and the Gold Fury control here for Rival is phenomenal. I mean, they've got pretty good damage on the objective. Cerberus is there to shred the Gold Fury's protections. Chernobog great at killing objectives quickly because of his passive and that attack speed steroid. Thoth great at securing objectives. eUnited doesn't have the best Gold Fury contest either. You're basically just looking at Ratatoskr ultimate that can potentially disrupt it.
Players are still taking a minute to get themselves sorted for this game, boys and girls. So there's a bit of a delay. It won't be too long, I promise you. We'll stay alongside you as these guys get themselves set up one more time. We can talk about specific lane matchups now, though, with this little bit of a window. Obviously, Athena Medusa for the... Athena Chronos, I should say, for the dual lane. It will be PandaCat playing that Chronos for you all, up against the Cerberus and Chernobog. Well, Prush Power is definitely in favor of Cerberus and Chernobog here.
I would say so for sure, and I'll be real, I'm not super familiar with the Chernobog-Chronos matchup, Chernobog being fairly new and Chronos being out of favor for quite some time.
Sure.
But I would render a guess that if Chernobog gets hit by that first part of stop time, he gets dashed into the wall, avoid the stun, and then come out safely.
Definitely windows, though, that on the dash, if you're too late on doing that, you can get cancelled out of the dash towards the wall, too.
And that's scary.
Yeah.
If you were to lose a dash trying to play aggressively in that spot, you can definitely get punished for it. I just think that Vote has been the most consistent ADC over the last calendar year. I think that he has really, really been consistent. Emilito has ebbed and flowed a little bit. He's back towards his peak. PandaCat has really risen his level of play over the last year. But these two are easily the two of the best 3 hunters in the world right now, and I don't see an argument otherwise.
When you think about what kind of people they've had in their scene to have to go up against continuously, they've always been around the scene but never seen as the top dogs in their position. And I think you're right, at this moment in time, these are the two to really keep your eyes on, and only one of them is going to make it through today, which is surprising.
And they're going to have to face off against the other one who has a claimed best ADC in my mind, which is Emilito right now for Energy. But got to stay focused on what's in front of you right here. In Rival, you look down their composition, a decent amount of CC, but not that much. Not a lot that's going to force your beads before that Cerberus ult. You're kind of looking for Kalos to be the beads burner in this spot, which is often a little bit strange. You don't want your best CC payoff to be the bait in that spot. You really want, fear no evil and no escape. If you get either one of those, you win the team fight sort of idea. Here, Stygian Torment's going to have to pull beads out, but then that lets, Deathwalker continuously chase someone down. The roots from Chernobog could be big. But I think that there could be some problems for a Rival with not being able to strip purification beads away and then not being able to punish them when they're down.
Pretty good poke on from Rival as well with that Thoth, obviously, and Chernobog from distance too. eUnited a little bit more up close and personal, so the poke war in the team fights could actually make a difference because there's not much sustain on either side here.
Yeah, that's true. You don't have any extra healing coming from either side, but Thoth will likely build Soul Gem, and that can act as mini sustain, pulsing out through the team fights. It's not something that you can count on necessarily, but it'll go there, and it can be noticed from time to time. On the other side of eUnited, I think their CC is just phenomenal. I mean, Athena Chronos is a really, really good combo in that mid to late game. Just taunt into stop time, and you are there for a long period of time. Plus Petrify, Bellona stun, Ratatoskr stun. The Prot Shred is really good from eUnited. And the good thing about eUnited's composition is that you can't itemize purely against physical, because Chronos is one of those gods.
Yeah, he is.
Sometimes when you're playing against like Poseidon or something like that, you don't need to build that much magical defense. You need to stack up that magical D against even a lone Chronos.
Enough from myself and Ryan. It's time to get it to the casters for game. Well, technically 1, but it's technically 4 as well. It's John Finch and Anatoly.
Thanks, Hindu. Let's move here into the first game of the set, at least that we're seeing being played here live between eUnited and Rival. 1 win for Rival, sends them to the grand finals, 2 from eUnited in a row, and they'll be there up against Energy. Totally, it's not an easy task.
It's a tough journey, but at least they're warmed up, right?
That's true.
We spoke with eUnited yesterday what they would rather do. Do they want to come in with a little bit of a break, or do they want to go into it hot and ready? And I think that despite needing to win 2 games, eUnited can't be counted out here whatsoever. They are the world defending champions in the finals of SWC 2018. They won the first game, lost the next one, but then proceeded to win games 3 and 4. So it's not unheard of to take 2 in a row against Rival.
Not at all, and they're going to try and get this done with Chronos in the hunter role for PandaCat, borrowing a little bit from the book of Emilito over there on the side of Energy, their future opponents if they were to win 2 games here. They're going to need a lot coming out from this pick in particular. And then a lot from Venenu, I'm thinking as well. There's not a ton of AoE on this team. If Petrify comes through for them, though, they could be in a good spot.
It's very true. There could be a lot of issues here for eUnited if they're not careful at the end of the day, because that double hunter, despite being physical hunter for Venenu, a magical hunter for PandaCat, there could be a lot of anti-attack speed trying to go forward from Rival, getting into the Witchblade, maybe the Merguardian Mail.
Looks like there could potentially be something interesting happening here as iceicebaby's hanging out over in the solo lane, but we'll check back in with them a little bit later. Totally, this match, it does have a ton of implications, I feel like, here. Not just for which team is the one that's going to be able to make it, but can North America make it to the grand finals? We got a brief pause coming out. We'll get everything sorted here with the players. I mean, up until now, it's felt like recently Europe have been the kind of dominant region. This is a chance for eUnited, you know, to make it back, to show North America still got it to an extent.
Well, at Worlds, it goes 2 for 2. First one went to Cog Prime, and then the second and third goes to Epsilon, and then Energy immediately after. eUnited bringing it at home back to the States in number 4. So starting things off right in Season 5 is the Europeans. You know, Dignitas had a great showing in the spring split, but then just fell to Rival, and I think that Energy going to be that final boss that we all know from Season 2 and 3 for whichever team wins this one.
That's right. You heard them say it themselves, Rival, in their interview earlier on, that they lost to Dignitas, similar to the way they lost to Energy, right? A very stompy set where they didn't get a single win, then they came back through the finals and were able to grab that victory. So in a way, they've done it before. They've put themselves in this position, so certainly it's something they can do. And they got to beat eUnited first to make it there, but they're feeling confident.
And eUnited hasn't really faced Energy often whatsoever, because at that previous World, it was Rival that took on Energy in the semifinals matchup, while it was eUnited taking out Obey Alliance. And Rival seems to struggle against Energy in the sense that they haven't found any victories against them on the online portion, and eUnited going to have to face off against the Energy meta. Could be interesting to see how they adapt.
And that's going to be the thing I'm really looking forward to, is getting a matchup that we potentially don't have too often, right? A chance to see eUnited go up against Energy if they were to make it to that point. So that's something that I certainly want to see. eUnited seem like they want to try and make it to that level 2, prove that, you know, there's some talk about their world championship, you know, that maybe they got hot at the right time. There's a chance they can show not at all.
Well, I think any team at any given moment can pop off, and eUnited were a little bit hotter than Rival on that day.
Just on that day in particular. Well, on this day in particular, we're going to work on making sure we get everything squared up and all the players ready to go. So it'll be a real quick break. We're going to be right back to the Losers Finals. Welcome back to the Smite Pro League. Again, it is Finch and Anatoly, as we've got Team Rival up against eUnited down here in the lower bracket finals. Looks like we got everything sorted out and the players back and ready to go. Totally, this is the one that's so important. eUnited can't afford to lose even once.
That's very true. It's a continuation series, so that means that off of the best of 3 that these two teams played, Rival winning that 2-1, this best of 5 starting off at that record.
And that's why that win for eUnited was so important. It could be 2-0 here, potentially.
Oh, yeah.
So they've at least got some help. And this is only for the lower bracket finals. Whichever one of these teams makes it up to the grand finals, that'll just be your traditional grand finals, where the loser would need to reset the bracket in order to win.
And they're going to have to face the final boss, NRG. They missed out on their opportunity during spring, but looking so hot in the summer.
That's right. They were not happy at all that they ended up missing out on that LAN event. They have been playing as if that's the case here, just kind of taking on all comers, no one really getting very close against that dominant energy force. But that's how Dignitas looked last LAN. They looked untouchable, and then Rival climbed back through the lower bracket and were able to get that victory. Could they do it again here, or even perhaps eUnited if they can win too?
Very possible. I like the start already for eUnited being able to clear the first duo lane wave and grab their own red buff. Wlfy looking for some poke onto Venenu, getting that level 2 marker first. Should be getting his own red buff.
Looks like where he's heading, just going to fall back, able to clear just a little bit faster as Venenu playing the Hunter in the mid lane. Not too surprised to see him with the Transcendence, as Hunters mid often do this, but Vote on the other side is also electing to go that same path, so both of our Hunters rushing Transcendence right away.
And the amount of scaling that they have, it's not a bad idea to do it onto Venenu's, but for Vote, you could do it either way, honestly. Like, getting physical power is never a bad thing for a Hunter, but he's not really known as a traditional ability-based Hunter with all the attack speed steroid that he gets. Once he throws out that ability, I think that it's more important to look for the crit in the late game.
See where it is that Vote wants to go. Might have a slightly slower start. We'll see. He is up against PandaCat, though, in the Chronos, where he probably won't be facing that much early pressure. So, you know, he's got a little bit more room if he wants to do this. You're going to be real thankful for that power bank later on in the game. So as long as he's not under too much pressure, that should be fine. But PandaCat and PBM have them pushed up to the tower line.
It's very true, and the theme of this game is going to be global. You got Athena for PBM, and then on the flip side, Vote piloting the Chernobog. Wherever that Defender of Olympus goes, Vote's going to need to be mindful.
Careful, there's a Panda on his way for the PandaCat iceicebaby, dunking in and dropping the slow. Stun comes out, and Collis finds first blood on the Cerberus rival. Come out of the gate swinging.
Just a good timing for a dual lane gank before anyone's back to base, meaning that there's no vision on that left side of the map. And getting ganked at 2 minutes and 10 seconds is about 15 seconds before the speed buff respawns, meaning that there's that small window of opportunity for iceicebaby to still get his own speed buff. No possible invade from eUnited.
And that was with PolarBearMike and PandaCat committing everything they had. The shell and the beads both came out, and still not enough to keep them alive. Looks like Vote had to expend his as well, just to make sure he could keep up, get past PBM, and guarantee the death there of PandaCat, who it looks like is going to be working on perhaps a Warlock staff. We did see that coming out from Emilito. As the Chronos, you've kind of got time to worry about building that up, but with taking that early spill, that would certainly slow him down.
It's going to be difficult. Both gets taunted out, but no real follow-up from PandaCat. Barely off the mark, Callus with a paralyzing spit. And something to take note of from the Chronos play is just his health pool. It's not that high compared to other hunters or other mages, which makes him very risky to go from time to time. He starts off at 440 health, but he gets 70 health per level. It's one of the lowest of the games, and that's why PandaCat rushing for this Warlock staff, trying to get some magical power, but also make up for that deficit of health.
Ice is aggressive here in the enemy jungle, so they might be able to catch him out, as there's also trouble for Deathwalker, who interrupts with the dash. Scream gonna chase him down. Eagle's rally comes out as well. Deathwalker now forced to run into the jungle.
Wow.
Looks like he will survive.
Definitely will, with that Warrior's Blessing giving him some sustain, venting the anger to get that extra movement speed, getting that damage over time, not making it enticing for Scream to continue the chase. Both ultimates in the soul lane used for failure.
Not able to quite find that pick, and that was Scream's, really his first rotation. Remember, Ice able to successfully come over and get that level 1, not level 1 gank, but the early gank onto PandaCat to bring him down. But unfortunately, not going to be the same success for Scream and for Benji on that Bellona.
And I like what Deathwalker did, using his horrific emblem defensively, trying to keep himself alive, which will transition very well in these team fights. You ask about how you shut down Chronos and physical hunters such as the Medusa. Well, upgraded Horrific Emblem will do that, reducing some of the damage output and the attack speed.
Those Warriors shouldn't have any problem not only building that, but some of the other great physical defense items that can shut down some of these hunters. So they're going to have their work cut out for them. We'll see what it is that PandaCat wants to do up against it, though, since he'll have a slightly easier task as the Mage ADC. Already, though, there's been more aggression over here towards this solo lane, but this time coming out from Rival, they're just going to come and defend their own blue in the end.
Deathwalker not necessarily needing that blue, but it's not a bad idea to put some presence on this lane in the World's Finals matchup. It was all a Benji versus Deathwalker show, and a lot of it was the Osiris versus the Bellona or Chulainn from time to time, and Benji looking to secure his own blue buff. Scream will make sure of it.
Does get dropped down, but can Benji come pick it up? He can. Not going to be that hard of a defense coming out there from Team Rival as Benji grabs it. Looks like he's elected to go with the Ninja Tap for the attack speed. We'll talk about those in a moment, though, because Venenu has to run away. Final Judgment off the mark, but the dunk brings Venenu incredibly low, and iceicebaby gets the kill. They're now going to put the chase on to Scream, and the stun lands. He's deleted as well. Vote finds that one.
Wow, Globals versus Globals. Defender of Olympus, not enough, but the living nightmare from Vote certainly was. Root making it happen. And just like that, Rival add 2 more kills to their account, really allowing everyone to start thriving. Wlfy now with 2 assists, has the mobility, and that's the big deal between these 2 mid laners. Rushing Transcendence is great for power, but not having the mobility was really bad, because the way of the gank flank from iceicebaby was beautifully timed. From the flank, Venenu couldn't go back to his own tier 1 tower. The ultimate was going to trap him in. No one from eUnited with a Phantom yet means that this Medusa is the prime target.
Ice clearly looking comfortable, and it's a very strong start for Rival to come out of the gate. You're up about 1,000, and it's hard enough when you start to struggle early on in a game when in a normal situation, but they can't lose even once.
That's
eUnited,
true.
or they're done. If you feel the wall squeezing in early, you just have to remain calm. And PandaCat can't even get the rewind off. Callus shreds him with help from Vote.
This is just an oopsie-daisy from PandaCat. Callus with a beautiful position behind that little angle wall. He was keeping himself hidden on purpose, recognizing PandaCat's tendencies to look for poke. That time rep, a 5-second cooldown surge. Yeah, sure, why not go on the tower line, or close to it rather. Look for that 5-second cooldown. Spam it as often as possible, but Callus had other intentions.
That's now 2 deaths on the late game PandaCat, and then their nice early to mid-game powerhouses here, the Medusa and the Ratatoskr, have each taken a spill as well. They've been slowed down on both fronts by this rival squad who look very comfortable. They look hungry to make it back to the grand finals, especially considering the performance they had. I mean, it was a 3-0. They never really had much chance in that set. They want to get back and prove they're better.
Already 7.5 minutes in, and despite Rival having about a 1,500 goal lead, eUnited need to respect it to the point where, like, okay, listen, we can't be aggressive like that at their tower line. It's just unwarranted at this point. Respect the Odin rotations, have the proper vision around the mid Harpies to spot iceicebaby, and then adapt to it, because he's going to be looking for the ganks on these targets that can't get out of the cage.
It's also possible to do the other side, though, for the stakes to be so high here that you played too passively. eUnited got a lot of work to make sure they maintain the perfect balance right in the middle. Got a Goldilocks this one with everything on the line. We'll follow along with them a little bit longer, see if they can get it done.
Both Benji and Screammmmm going for very cost-effective builds in the early portion of this game. Gladiator Shield. Now, this makes sense for Chulainn, trying to, you know, box the opposition and look for the sustain, but out of your jungler, you're looking for a little more damage. Normally a Yonen's Wrath, a Crusher, but this means that Screammmmm is still looking for those early plays and counteracting whatever iceicebaby is trying to throw at his team.
Almost 9 minutes into this one, eUnited on the back foot, and with these double hunters, I thought they might even have been looking for a chance to try and grab these objectives a little bit early, but I don't know if that's even still in the cards, because they have to give some respect over to Team Rival that they've earned here early on. It could even be Rival who are the ones looking for this. Deathwalker forces out Benji. It's not as if he has a big level lead, but he certainly seems to be getting the better of the trade.
And this is the one thing you can do in the matchup. There's not much CC out of the Cucullin, but there is that one knockup. Benji gets interrupted. Screammmmm, Venenu, and PBM making their presence in the solo lane.
Up in the air, they got to recognize Ice is here, but there's just no attempt. Unfortunately, Screammmmm cannot go in.
Good call from Vote, using that Living Nightmare, giving himself vision, calling where everyone is from eUnited. And on top of that, the blue buff was already secured. iceicebaby basically one-shotted with a Bird Bomb combo, leaving just no ultimate for Screammmmm now to make a play anywhere.
And look at this, Collis not electing to go sort of how we traditionally see. We see Gauntlet of Thebes here, some aura items like the Sovereignty even come out, even Stun and Binding. That's not going to be the call here. Once again to the cloak right away as iceicebaby continues to strip away the jungle.
It's all about the taunt. Hold that thought, though. There goes the ultimate onto Screammmmm, recognizing he doesn't have that through the Cosmos, but no real follow-up from Rival. Instead, it's onto PBM.
Drops the Stygian Torment, he gets removed. Rewind is going to get off from PandaCat in time for him to escape, but it's already too late. PolarBearMike erased.
Not only did PBM get hit by the final judgment, but as did Screammmmm and PandaCat right down that corridor between purple and red. Great positioning from Wlfy on the Thoth, really showing off his mechanics.
Man, Collis has been a part of all these kills. Also, so has Vote, but I mean, the presence from this Cerberus has clearly been felt from Collis all weekend. It's felt like at this event he's played so incredibly well, but he's landing the stun, the Stygian Torment's there as well. Wherever they need him, he's there.
And I was going to mention a little bit about this cloak tree that Callus is going for. Whenever you get taunted, expect Venenu to hit you with the Petrify. You can't really do much about it when you're a Guardian support going for a shell as a relic as opposed to beads, right? So expect the combo, and as a result, you go for the Spirit's Robe, grant yourself that 15% damage mitigation.
A lot of the times when someone's getting controlled, you count on your Guardian to come in and mitigate some of the damage, but if you're the one that's getting controlled, you don't have that option. Spirit Robe, though, kind of allows you to fill that niche just a little bit, right? Once you get hit by that hard CC, you are going to be taking a little bit less damage as a result, so we'll see how that ends up working. As we do have another brief pause coming out, we'll try and get everything sorted out here with these players, but totally Rival already off to a good start.
Absolutely. They're looking so dominant. And on top of the Spirit Robe discussion, it's also the 10% cooldown reduction. It's
nice.
Difficult at times as a Guardian support to find cooldown reduction in your build where there's so many enticing auras. Sovereignty, Heartward Amulet, Gauntlet of Thebes. None of those three items gives you that cooldown reduction, but it helps your team survive a little longer. Sometimes, if you have a specific game plan in mind where Rival looking for those early game plays, you need to build selfishly so that your team can just continue the objectives.
That's going to be the call here. You build selfishly to help others and Screammm's in trouble. He jumps right up onto the tree and barely gets away from Colossus' damage. But now Vote has showed up. He's managed to zone PBM away with that area where he could possibly drop the root, and he ends up falling. Wlfy takes him out.
PBM had nowhere to go. His dash was on cooldown and no life. Right side, Benji trying to do whatever he can for his team, but the blue buff already stripped away as Rival extending that gold lead a little bit further. 2,500 at 12 minutes, but with 6 kills in the lead.
And Rival look, not Rival, but eUnited look a little bit lost here early on in this game. They've got to find a way to regroup as Iceice continues to strip away farm. He's been deep into eUnited's jungle, taking away farm. That means it's going to hurt Scream, even though he hasn't really struggled that much so far. There's just less options.
The funny thing about this matchup between eUnited and Rival was the very first game of that Worlds Final, iceicebaby did play Odin, and he consistently invaded the back camps so much that he got first blooded after the first one, but that didn't stop him. He picked up Swiftwing, and then he did 2 more rotations, and despite Scream that was playing the Bastet, finding the first blood, after the 3rd steal of those back camps, it was basically a tie between those 2 junglers in the net worth.
Well, Iceice continuing that same strategy, and eUnited don't seem to have found a way to adjust to it yet. That's what I mean by a little bit lost. They've taken a couple looks towards solo lane for those ganks, and they've been unsuccessful on both attempts. The first time, Deathwalker just survives, but the second one, when Vote commits his ultimate, they can't even really attempt it. So eUnited have not even been able to get off the ground at all, it feels like.
And it's going to get scary because iceicebaby hitting level 12 opens up another relic slot. Going for the blink now. He's going to be able to position himself very well, where looking at eUnited, they don't have those second relics for the Phantom quite yet.
Gonna try solo lane again. Eagles Rally not quite on the mark, and neither is the knockup coming out from Screen. Deathwalker drops Thorns, and he wants to fight again. Scream in trouble as Vote makes the rotation and takes down the rat. Now Benji has got to run back towards the tier 1 tower. He should survive this, but another gank that doesn't work.
Oh, wow, Venenu caught in the cage. There goes Defender of Olympus. Great jump from iceicebaby. Now PBM barely able to dash away from that Stygian Torment.
And it's all he can do just to survive. This is nice, though, that PandaCat is going to keep pushing after the rotation from Vote, but he's got to be careful with Wlfy coming through. Does manage to land the stun. Not quite enough damage to take down Wlfy, but I like the trade.
No, not going to be able to find the kill quite yet, but if eUnited need to find something, it has to be on the left side of the map. PandaCat playing this late hyper carry Chronos, stacking the Warlock staff now at 44. Needs to be able to find the farm, and he grants his team another 500 gold with that tier 1 tower.
eUnited did have enough presence to keep this tier 1 tower standing. That's another small win for them to go along with grabbing the tier 1 and left for PandaCat. Team Rival did get those kills, but they couldn't do much more. Gold at about 3,000, experience at 4,200. It's been a steady climb for Rival.
During that left side split push, I believe Rival actually did secure the Pyromancer, so a little bit more of a boost after those 2 additional kills. And when you have one global dealing with another, if you're using that Defender of Olympus, you gotta watch out for that Living Nightmare. Very selfless play from Vote. Giving up farm, giving up his tier 1 tower to make that play happen and shut down Scream even further to allow iceicebaby more momentum.
Got to be careful on this left-hand side. It was a nice rotation from Rival. They've got Colossus here along with Vote, but it's eUnited who are at least standing near the Gold Fury, trying to see if they can get Rival to come in and check it out. And they're going to get exactly that. Scream goes up into the air first. Colossus is getting poked on the left side, so they collapse on him. Spin comes out, and finally, the first kill for eUnited's on the board.
That was the reasoning of that play. They recognized Callus with 60% health, and all eyes on the Cerberus. A great pick-off shell. Not enough to save his life. Neither was the Spirit's Robe. His only defensive escape was maybe using the blink.
Now he has that sovereignty to help out as Gold Fury gets looked at. PolarBearMike not even going to be able to channel the ultimate in time as Vote removes him from the game. Gold Fury has not been pulled just yet as Rival move up to 9 kills in total. But they're still not ready to pull the Gold Fury. I think Rival are just going to leave.
Rival are not going to do this Gold Fury with PBM still having Defender of Olympus, but they could look for a little bit more. Vote, take it to the sky. Living Nightmare right onto Venenu.
He's going to dash towards that mid-mage because Deathwalker's still here. Stun comes out, I believe, from Screammmmm. That does slow Deathwalker down for the moment, so they're not going to be defined any more kills. But they forced eUnited to send 2 people back, and now they can start up this gold.
Deathwalker going to be on zoning duty. Benji's here trying to penetrate. Keep in mind, PBM has the ultimate, and there they go.
Eagles Rally comes out right away. That does force them off the objective for now. Vote has returned, as well as Collis controls 2 with Stygian Torment right into the dunk. Collis gets the first kill of the fight. Benji in some trouble as well. Deathwalker letting out the roar and taking him down. PandaCat is going to be able to rewind in time, but right back in between everybody, and he's got to flee.
Uses the Aegis, Scream up in the sky, gets a knockup only onto Deathwalker. Wlfy separating himself away from Scream, and that's 4 quick picks. Gold Fury looking mighty tempting for Rival.
Venenu, the only one still around, has Petrify available, so steal potentials here, but iceicebaby and Collis not going to let that one happen. Team Rival going to grab 4 kills and the Gold Fury 16 minutes into the game. Now it's 5,500 gold out in front, 7,000 experience. When it rains, it pours.
eUnited need to find a way to bounce back if they want to keep their Summer LAN Finals dreams at Hope, where Energy are waiting right around the corner. And they need the experience more than anything, because Screammmmm is setting up the plays now with the Void Shield after the Gladiator Shield, but he can't get the primary targets. They found a nice pick onto Callus, but that was about it. They need to find the better targets, which is Vote and Wlfy, but then when you go on those back lines, iceicebaby's there to try to catch you in the cage.
And they haven't been given any room to operate yet. Deathwalker has made some nice rotations, but iceicebaby, I feel like in particular, has caused some problems with the cage. He's able to drop down. He's playing so far forward, and eUnited can't move in to try and find those lower health targets. You can say the same for Collis.
And the thing about the Odin is like it forces someone to go Phantom, and sometimes you even want to be able to get 2 Phantoms. However, Benji needs to go Sprint, considering PBM started off with a Shell. If you don't have both of those relics in teamfight scenarios, you're asking for trouble. But this means that the only person remaining that can pick up the Phantom is PBM, but he's only level 10.
He's still 2 levels away from being able to grab that relic for himself as Benji tries to group up the PBM, but he's got to be careful. There's a death squad behind him, stun off the mark from Collis as they try and force down the tier 1. PBM ults away. That means it's just Benji here now to try and fight.
PBM's like, that's a hard note for me, dog, as he teleports and uses that ultimate down the mid lane. Look at the sky. Screammmmm looking for a gank on the left side, because PandaCat looking for a tier 2 tower, using that accelerate.
Screammmmm is going in aggressive. They're trying to punish the left side because there was aggression on the right. PandaCat doesn't quite have enough damage. They can't get Wlfy in mid either. They both survived the 2v1s. That's so instrumental. And now Vote's here to turn the tide. Venenu ends up falling.
PBM trying to escape on the left side. Tier 2 tower still very enticing on the left for PandaCat. Screammmmm right around the corner trying to make a play.
He does blink in. Vote has to use the beads right away. Aegis keeps him alive for another moment. Shell as well. He makes it into the wall. Vote still stands, but we can't say the same for Mike. Collis gets a double kill, eradicating Screammmmm. PandaCat has got to run for his life as he gets away from team Rival 16-1.
Are you kidding me? How does Vote survive that one? I'll tell you how. He has his teammates right beside him with a perfect shell in place from Callus, with a perfect Aegis as well, buying him just enough of a cooldown to go right into the wall and hide for a little longer.
And that's just the kind of game that it's been for eUnited, hasn't it, where they just can't quite finish these off. Now Team Rival pulling the Fire Giant, not even at 20 minutes yet. Benji is on this side of the map, but he either doesn't know this is happening or doesn't want to come see. Team Rival should be able to grab this Fire Giant without any kind of contest before the 20-minute mark.
A very bold call, which pays off. There was a few dead members there, specifically Screammmmm, so you don't have to worry about that through the Cosmos ultimate. Granting themselves another Pyromancer, just a little cherry on the top, building off of an 8,000 gold lead. Rival are really running away with this one, Finch.
And they only have the tier 1 tower left in dual lane to take down. There'll be the 3 more tier 2 towers after that, adding quite a bit more gold over to the pockets of the squad. They're already up about 9,000. They want to add a little bit more to that. Remember, we're only 20 minutes in. The experience lead, very relevant. No level 20s yet for Rival. That means eUnited are feeling every bit of it at this point.
They need to find a way to bounce back, and they've been leaning on this tier 2 tower. This is the game plan from eUnited. They like, we need something, and this 1,500 gold is the only way they can do it. But if iceicebaby can find an opportunity to blink ultimate, it's going to get even more scary because PBM has still yet to back after hitting level 12 to pick up that Phantom.
This is just rough for eUnited. They committed all 4 here to try and force down the tier 2, but rivals show 3, and that's enough to push them back. They haven't been able to get much of anything to work for themselves just yet, but remember, they have some tools to still come back as long as they can remain relevant. They've got the Chronos, they've got the Athena taunts late game, they can still do it.
United not concerned about the cage, picking up the upgraded Belt of Frenzy. What they're saying is, if they're going to be trapped in the cage, instead of running away and repositioning and wasting all that time anyway, considering how far behind they are, they might as well stay put, hold their ground, fight using this relic, and try to win the battle that way.
It's going to have to be the plan here from eUnited. Is Rival going to try and take down this tier 2 in the left-hand side? They already grabbed the tier 1, and eUnited are spread out at this point. They're trying to grab their farm wherever they can, push down the tier 1 in mid. You can even see PBM trying to look and see if there's Harpies back to grab. Screammmmm nowhere nearby. They're not really worried about what Rival are doing. They have to try and find farm anywhere on the map to stay relevant.
And the right side of the map will be with the 2 global ultimates. You got Screammmmm with the Through the Cosmos, and you got Athena being piloted by PBM with the Defender of Olympus. So why not use those global ultimates to try to get your team another 1,500 gold?
Benji gonna fall back, looking for the back. He has to worry though about Wlfy, who's right here nearby, not gonna let him back for free. The collapse is on as Deathwalker rotates in too. This could be trouble now for eUnited solo laner. He does drop the Eagles rally on top of Wlfy, but the cage comes out as well. He's stunned, and he's certainly dead to rights.
A little too aggressive for his own good, but eUnited are looking for him for any position that they can, whether it's between Phoenixes, between tier 1s and tier 2s. I don't necessarily mind this call from Benji, but if they lose any more teammates, eUnited might lose some Phoenixes.
Well, Venenu doesn't get rooted, but he takes a ton of damage. That's enough to prompt the Defender of Olympus coming out from PBM, who goes to join him, but that does leave one lone rat, one little ratty boy to defend the tier 2 in mid. And he's not even going to try. Team Rival should be able to grab this one pretty easy.
Definitely will be a free 1,500 gold. Rival extending their lead to over 13,000. Not even 23 minutes in the game. Screammmmm goes in the sky. There needs to be this mid-Phoenix defense now for eUnited to continue their dreams.
They're going to defend. It has to happen here. Deathwalker goes in for the 2-man knockup. Gets taunted back in. He's very low, but Shell does keep him alive. Collins controls Screammmmm, so Vote can come in for the kill. PolarBearMike is low as well, and iceicebaby gets him. Benji will be back here in a few seconds, but PandaCat needs some help. He uses the rewind, and it does reposition.
Trying to survive for a little bit longer. Great stun from Wlfy. There goes the Petrified. Benji using that Eagles rally, trying to stick onto Wlfy. A good shell, keeping the mid laner alive, but Benji now on the retreat.
Trying to force this, trying to see if they can find anyone to punish this aggression, but Venenu dies to Deathwalker. Benji is going to end up eventually following the left-hand side to Vote, who's unstoppable. Only PandaCat left to keep the Phoenix standing. Rival want to find a way to make it to the grand finals. That could happen right here, right now. But with those 2 Phoenixes, they'll fall back.
PandaCat all smiles, not able to defend that left Phoenix 1v5. But the rest of Rival, they're not going to try to end. They have a lot of gold in hand to spend after the siege.
What impressive play here from Rival, though, Tully. I mean, can you just believe it? I mean, eUnited really needed this. I mean, they had to win this game or it was over for them immediately. They choose the Chronos. They choose to take this Bellona, we don't see that much of as well, and they haven't been able to get anything to work.
No, definitely not. You know, the players wanted a continuation series after the spring split, and they certainly got it. eUnited on the interview, I believe, in the last one, it was a bittersweet victory over Space Station Gaming because they had to try to win 2 games against Rival without dropping a single one.
It's going to be tough for them here as Screammmmm forced to go up into the ultimate just to get away. Tries to find farm anywhere he can, but Vote gonna chase him down. Screammmmm in a real bad neighborhood is now Wlfy coming in to join. Evade and Punish doesn't land, but Vote ends up killing him for their 22nd kill. At this point, it feels like Rival probably can take this one once they're ready. Can eUnited regroup mentally here?
They could definitely still regroup after the summer split. I don't think that they're going to be able to regroup for this game because Rival are not going to give them any time to breathe going for their second Fire Giant of the game. But eUnited, 2 tenured, experienced veteran to let this defeat get to them as the fall split approaches. And they've come really far.
They have improved this eUnited roster, and they had this opportunity. They got this win up against Rival in their set earlier on as the tier 2 tower comes tumbling down. The response from eUnited is going to be to grab the tier 2 over in duo, try and find a little bit more gold, and get back in time to defend their last remaining Phoenix. Scream will be back up in just a second, so he can be here for the defense as well.
Needs to find the miracle defense on their last remaining Phoenix on the right side of the map. 18,000 gold, Rivals in the lead with Fire Giant around their waist for another 3.5 minutes. Tanking it was iceicebaby for the moment, but Deathwalker looking to zone for as long as possible.
Deathwalker's already moved forward. PandaCat does get some poke back on him. They have a minion wave coming into the Phoenix now to make it easier. iceicebaby steps forward to box with Benji. Deathwalker comes in for support while Vote puts in damage. They are going to drop the girdle. Scream gets low very early on. Can't even make it up to the tree. PandaCat with the rewind, but they turn around for the immediate collapse. Vote has to hide. Defender of Olympus is being channeled, but right there is Chulainn to bring everybody back.
Petrify stunning iceicebaby, but it's not going to matter. Venenu very low in the middle of every Rival. He goes down. It's a 2-on-5 finish, and Rival punched their ticket to the finals.
Yeah, not going to be able to defend it here. eUnited put up their best effort, but Rival just too strong. That's the 4th game. That makes it 3, and they're going to make it right on through to the grand finals. We're going to see Rival and Energy throw down one more time.
Deathwalker shaking his head and lifting his arms in a shrug emoji kind of way. It's just like, well, that happened, I guess. Let's take on NRG.
That's going to be the next task for them. Rival looking all business. Rival knew that they had a chance to take this set down. They were able to execute eUnited. A little bit of frustration here on the faces after that tough loss. They felt confident, I think, going in. They knew that they had to win 2 in a row, but couldn't quite get it done.
Well, they bounced back after the first loss of Space Station Gaming. You can tell PBM was really pumped after winning that whole entire set, but these two teams still great friends. I was even able to interview both, it was Deathwalker, Callus, PBM, and PandaCat in a 2-team interview where we were all recapping the World's Finals, and it was all very jovial, so I don't think there's any hard feelings after that set, after the spring split either. Still great friends are these two teams.
And since then, Rival has looked like the stronger team. I mean, every time they've met up since what happened there at Worlds, Rival's the one that ends up coming out on top, and they do so again here, which means they will be moving on to the grand finals. Again, we're going to see that one tomorrow. But that was impressive for them all across the board. Ice had a great performance. Chulainn continues to look like a top-tier support. I mean, number 1 or 2 with the way that he's been playing. Just so impressive from him.
I think there was 2 key things that allowed Rival to really dominate this game. Number 1 was the disrespect of the Odin, not picking up Phantom at level 12 from PBM. At that point, honestly, I guess they were already down, so they might as well try, but maybe even go for the first Relic Phantom at that point, right? Second one was PandaCat playing a little bit too aggressive, too ahead of himself in several occasions when he tried to go for that poke with Callus right around the corner, where in a World in Season 5, Hunters are looking for farm and then looking for the team fights in the mid-game, not so much early game.
Who is your MVP there from that game? Go ahead and vote for us now in the Mixer poll. I'm right there with you, thinking Ice and Chulainn, but you got to give some credit to Deathwalker. Remember, he survived 2 ganks over to his lane, essentially alone. That was so instrumental. That could have potentially gotten the ball rolling for Scream. Otherwise, we didn't see much from him.
If I was to give an MVP vote, it would have to be for Callus. He made so many plays, very accurate, paralyzing spit as well.
Well, let's get it back over to the desk to break down what we just saw there in that game.
Thank you so much, Finch and Tolly. Yes, we now have our grand finalists. It will be a rematch of Energy up against Rival one more time.
It's it kind of to be expected at this point, right? Europe continues to dominate so far in Season 5, and I think we're in for a really, really great final. I do think that eUnited is disappointing with themselves after that performance. I mean, they got waxed there. Yeah. I mean, 1 kill in total. Chulainn had 8 by himself. And also, I mean, I know you guys are probably almost done voting for that MVP, but at this point, like, Vote 8-0. I mean, what an incredible performance from Vote. He was all over the place.
There was almost a moment in time where he died, but I believe it was 2 health he survived on.
Yes. That shell from Chulainn, though, was so critical.
Oh, yes.
Like, there's so many things that went into Vote surviving in that spot.
Congratulations to Rival, though. Obviously, because it was a continuation series, the most important thing of this overall was the factor that Rival beat them earlier on in the tournament, and that just factors into this set.
Exactly, and that is so important. It makes I mean, as if sending yourself to winner's bracket side or sending someone to loser's bracket wasn't important enough already, to then have the continuation series towards the bottom. I mean, certainly Rival had earned that lead, but only needing one game made it nice and easy, it felt like.
It just made it so tricky for them too. The MVP vote is still coming through. I'm waiting for that to find out who ends up getting this one for that game particularly. It's going to be Callis on the Cerberus that picks up the MVP. The Cassis we're talking about, he is
huge.
so good with the skill shots on the Guardians, man.
What happened to Callis, man? Remember a couple of years ago when his his distinguishing feature was that
Ares.
he was a sub for Paradigm back in the day, and all of a sudden, Cyclone GG, they're all kind of struggling a little bit, and Callis is, we're like, oh, is Callis going to be the dude who's going to lead this team? Oh, I swear, one day, I don't know what sort of deal Callis made with the devil, but one day he woke up and to this day has not missed a Fafnir hammer since.
We've got Callis and iceicebaby standing by for an interview after their victory over eUnited.
That was the plan. We just wanted more games. We're kind of disappointed that we got to play only one.
All right, we're live interview.
Oh, congratulations there, Team Arrival, on your victory over eUnited, going from the frying pan of Space Station Gaming straight to the oven with you guys. Your next opponent is Energy. Tell me, is there some merit to the lower bracket? Is it a tactical feeding that you guys did to Energy?
We wanted to play more games, basically, just to get the most out of the LAN. However, we only got to play one, so that didn't go according to plan. So I guess we'll just have to beat them out of the lower bracket.
Well, certainly congratulations. I mean, what a dominant performance from you all here. What do you think, what was it that had you all so far ahead of them here in this match? I mean, they looked like they weren't quite sure what to do at all. I mean, the Odin, I think in particular, really caused some problems for them as well. What was it from y'all's perspective?
I think they just weren't prepared for our style of play, because we certainly changed it up from yesterday. We reviewed our mistakes against Energy, and we tried to improve and adjust. I think it worked out for us, and they just didn't know what to do.
Callis, typical feeding fashion, the one and only death of the team. How was the comms like throughout the game, not just in that particular moment? Was it a feel-good situation?
Well, for me, it was definitely a feels-good situation. Kind of everything that kind of went down in every gank and every kill that we could have gotten, it all went straight to me. So I'm definitely happy that I got really fed, at least for once in my life.
And Ice, I mean, you were so aggressive in their jungle, it felt like the whole game. Like, I feel like I saw you on eUnited side more than your own. Was there anything in particular that you thought just opened up the window, or was it just because you were ahead so early?
Oh, it's because I was playing Odin. It's the usual Odin gameplay. Back from Season 4 and Worlds. I was there at their back camps, and so am I now.
That's where he is. Ice will be there at your back camps. Well, congratulations again. We're going to see you all in the grand finals. Good luck in that set, and thanks for the interview.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was rival victors here today. They have to take on NRG tomorrow.
eUnited's back camps looked a little weird there, didn't they? I said he was still there now.
He's Odin.
Yeah, I guess we've been doing interviews from eUnited's back camps.
To be fair,
all
Callis
week
was
long.
there too, so that's kind of how that
Yes.
game went, to be fair.
Seriously, man. Callis truly did get fed. He was right. Every kill went to him, but he earned every single one. I mean, the paralyzing spits were great. His Stygian Torment timing was great. Everyone on Rival just played really well.
Well, day 4 is coming to a conclusion, which means we've only got day 5 left, and it's going to be a doozy. We've got Energy versus Rival. Now, this is technically 2 best-of-5s. If Rival win the first best-of-5, we'll go to a second one. But if Energy win the first best-of-5, they've done the job. There's no continuation for anyone panicking. That's why we have 2 best-of-5s for the bracket reset.
Correct. From a lot of fighting games, things like that, you'll see bracket resets, and it's a little bit more traditional in that sense here for the MOBA, where we're going to get that first best-of-5. The winner side, that would be Energy wins it. That's it. That's all we got. But I don't know, man. With the way Rival played right there, it's tough to say because Energy came in and absolutely wiped the floor with Rival the first time they played. I've got no clue.
So did Dig.
Yeah, so did Dig. Great point.
So we'll find out if Rival can do it yet again, this time in even trickier territory in sense, because the first in spring, it was just that 1 game advantage.
That's right.
You guys at home, though, you've already got your tickets for Worlds, I hope, because if you haven't, you need to get those quick. But we're actually selling after-party tickets, too. You get to hang out with some of the best players around the world. You'll see them on your screen very often. Well, you'll see them with drinks in their hands at the after-party at the World Championships. Get your tickets now while they're available. Limited windows for these, so don't expect to just sit there and get them towards the end. I'm sick of people coming up to me on the day of and going, hey, can I get one of those tickets?
Yeah, hey, you got any more after-party tickets? No, I don't. You should have bought them before 11:30 tomorrow, because then they're going to go away, at least for now.
He says it best himself. So tomorrow we're setting ourselves up for Energy versus Rival. Get yourself relaxed tonight. Make sure you're prepared for tomorrow morning. We'll start things off at 10:45 with a bit of a pre-game to explain how both these teams got to this point. But that's it for us here today. From everyone here at the studios, myself, Ryan, and all the casters and production staff behind the scenes, have a wonderful Saturday evening, and we'll see you Sunday morning. Peaches!